Imagine moving into your dream home. The paint is fresh, the lawn is green, and the street is so quiet you can hear the leaves rustle. It's the kind of place where everyone smiles and waves, where kids play safely until the streetlights flicker on. And right next door, you have the perfect neighbor. His name was Robert Evans. He was the man who would always bring over a tool if you needed one, who kept his lawn immaculately trimmed, who remembered every holiday and would leave a small, thoughtful gift on your porch. He was quiet, polite, the kind of person you trust to water your plants or feed your cat while you were away. He seemed like the final, perfect piece of the suburban puzzle. But in the shadowy space between perception and reality, a terrifying truth was hiding, one that would shatter the illusion of safety and reveal that the most dangerous monsters are the ones who have learned to look just like us. It all started with the little things, the subtle cracks in the pristine facade. For Sarah, who lived across the street, it was the lights in his basement that seemed to burn all night long, casting long, dancing shadows against the small, high windows. She'd mentioned it once to her husband, joking that Robert must be a vampire, but he just shrugged it off, saying the man was probably just a night owl with a hobby. Then there were the sounds. Not loud, obnoxious parties, but something far more unsettling. Faint, rhythmic scraping noises that would sometimes drift through the shared wall late at night. The sound that the couple who lived next door before Sarah, the Millers, had also heard, but never questioned. They said it just sounded like he was moving furniture, or maybe doing some late-night woodworking. But the Millers moved away abruptly, leaving only a vague forwarding address. No one thought much of it at the time. People move all the time. The real unease began with the disappearances. It wasn't a major metropolitan area. It was a small, tight-knit community where everyone knew everyone. So when a local woman named Chloe, a vibrant young barista known for her bright pink hair, vanished after her evening shift, the town was gripped with fear. Flyers with her smiling face went up on every lamppost and store window. Search parties combed the woods. And then, another. A man named Mark, who worked at the local garage, failed to come home one night. His truck was found abandoned near the edge of town, keys still in the ignition. The community was living in a state of low-grade terror, looking at every stranger with suspicion, locking doors they had once left unlocked. But no one, and I mean no one, ever looked twice at Robert Evans. He was a pillar of the neighborhood, the first to donate to the search fund, the one who handed out hot coffee to the volunteers in the chilly morning air. He seemed so genuinely concerned, so heartbroken. He even attended the candlelight vigils, his head bowed in solemn respect. The police had few leads and no suspects. The cases were growing cold, and a grim acceptance was starting to set in. That is, until a new family moved in next door to Robert. The Hendersons had a young daughter, Lily, and a very curious, very yappy little terrier named Buster. Buster, unlike the humans around him, was not fooled by Robert's friendly demeanor. Every time Robert was in his backyard, Buster would go into a frenzy of barking, hackles raised, snarling at the fence line as if he sensed a predator. One Tuesday afternoon, while chasing a stray ball, little Lily accidentally kicked it over the fence into Robert's yard. Her mother, Jenna, sighed, embarrassed, and marched over to retrieve it. As she approached Robert's back door, she saw something that made her blood run cold. Lying on the patio, next to a bag of gardening soil, was a small, metallic hair clip. A clip she had seen 100 times in the missing person flyers. It belonged to Chloe, the girl with the pink hair. Jenna's mind raced. It could be a coincidence, right? Maybe it was a similar clip. Maybe Robert had found it somewhere. But every instinct in her body was screaming. She quickly grabbed the ball and hurried back home, her heart hammering against her ribs. She told her husband Mike that night. He, like many, was skeptical. Robert? Their helpful, quiet neighbor? But Jenna's fear was contagious. Instead of calling the police immediately, what if she was wrong and ruined an innocent man's life? They decided to do something reckless. Mike had a small old drone he used for photography. That night, under the cover of darkness, they sent it up, guiding it quietly over Robert's property. The camera feed was grainy, but what they saw in the backyard made their stomachs churn. In one corner, away from the neatly trimmed grass, was a patch of disturbed earth. The soil was freshly turned, unlike the rest of his manicured garden. It was a plot just large enough to bury something. Or someone. That was it. They called the police. When the detectives arrived, they listened patiently to Jenna's story about the hair clip and Mike's about the disturbed earth. It was all circumstantial, but it was enough for a search warrant. The next morning, a team of officers descended upon Robert Evans' picture-perfect home.
He answered the door with his usual calm demeanor, a slight look of confusion on his face. He consented to the search, ever the cooperative citizen. The house was spotless, almost unnervingly so. But as they moved through the home, something felt off. One detective noticed that the basement, which from the outside appeared to be a full-size space, seemed much smaller from the inside. They began tapping on the walls, and that's when they found it. A false wall, expertly constructed and painted to blend in seamlessly. Behind it was a hidden room, and in that room, the police found a nightmare. It wasn't just a collection of trophies, it was a shrine. Photographs of the missing individuals, taken without their knowledge, were pinned to a corkboard. Diaries detailing their routines, their likes, their dislikes, and then the most chilling discovery of all, a series of recorded videos. Robert Evans hadn't just harmed these people. He had been studying them, documenting their lives before they vanished. He had integrated himself into their world, becoming a harmless face in the crowd, all while plotting their end. The perfect neighbor was a prolific serial killer.
The disturbed earth in the backyard? It was where he buried the evidence, the personal items he couldn't bear to part with. The bodies of Chloe, Mark, and others were never found on his property. He had disposed of them elsewhere, in locations only he knew. The scraping sounds the neighbors heard? It was the sound of him digging, expanding his hidden chamber of horrors. Robert Evans was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. The community was left reeling, forever scarred by the revelation that evil had been living among them, masked by a smile and a well-kept lawn. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What do you think drives someone to create such an elaborate double life? Leave your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. And tell me, where are you watching the Criminal Codex from today? Drop your city in the comments. I love seeing how far our community reaches. The story of Robert Evans is a stark reminder that the most terrifying secrets are often hidden in plain sight, concealed behind a facade of normalcy. It teaches us to trust our instincts, to listen to the quiet alarms that go off in our minds, because sometimes the perfect neighbor is anything but. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Criminal Codex for more true crime stories. See you in the next one, where the truth waits to be uncovered.